Hello guys, in this video I want to talk about my perspective on learning versus earning in the initial stages of our tech career. But let's establish some background so that we understand where I come from as an engineer and what I focused on more, learning or earning. If I had to sum up my professional personality, it would look something like this. This beautiful soup sums up my current life. But that was not the case a couple of years back. I graduated in 2016 and I was one of the people who wasn't really sure about what he wanted to do for a living. Straight out of university, there are broadly two kinds of people. One, people who know what they exactly want to do because they've stumbled upon it during the university. Two, people who haven't found what they really want to do yet. I belong to the second category, but that did not stop me from finding what I wanted because I had a very different strategy. It took me about 3.5 years to understand where my strengths lie as an engineer, and then I started building on top of that to be a better robotics engineer. That's exactly what I do on a daily basis now, and I absolutely love it. And I'll let you in on my amazing strategy during this entire process. I almost completely ignored the financial numbers which come with a job for the first 3-ish years. I am one of those people who strongly believes that you have to really like what you do, and then the financial numbers kick in. A career is a long-term game, and if you really like what you do, then you can sustain it for a long time. Otherwise, no matter what the pay is, no matter how much you're earning, you're either going to burn out or you're going to be miserable. So I am not the person who would opt for that anyway. I currently love what I do, and that came with a cost, of course. The initial years was all about me ignoring financial numbers and figuring out what I wanted to do. When you're young, and if you're lucky to have no financial obligations, it just becomes easier to focus on your skills, understanding yourself, and then building up on what you want to do instead of thinking, hey, does this job pay me 10%, 20% or 30% more than the previous one? When I did that, I explored quite a bit because I was not thinking about how much money I will get in the next job. Of course, I was somehow able to sustain myself and I had to make sure I have a minimum level of sustenance in terms of finances. But apart from that, I was kind of a light traveler who would jump, run, walk whenever he wanted to, metaphorically. In this journey, I did not have this metaphorical burden of a heavy lifestyle. Now, let's talk about what a career actually looks like. On the left is an ideal career, which most people think about. It looks very linear. On the right is a real life career because it has ups and downs all the time. Now, the first career, which is ideal, has worked for some people I know, but they had one of these two qualities. One, they completed their university and started working in the early 90s or even before, and back then there were very few career choices to make. Two, people who exactly knew what they wanted to do straight out of university. Since I was not one of them, I knew that an ideal career does not work for me. I have to figure out a way by going up and down. Second, a real life career. It has its ups and downs and it is filled with micro experiments. For me, this was the case. And if the situation allows, it could also mean a non-monotonically increasing financial capacity. In simple terms, you might have to go back to earning less for a bit and spending less for a bit so that you can understand things for yourself, figure yourself out, and then build on top of that to get all the core skills you need for the domain you like. I do not really mean to reject the former way, which was mostly about an ideal career. It's just that I do not belong to the category of this linear trajectory of a career. I've been experimenting for the last 3 years, and that is exactly why I landed where I really wanted to down the line. If I chose the trajectory of an ideal career, I am very sure I would have been miserable, but it's anything but miserable right now. Now, let's go to the core of this video. I always say that I want to focus on learning more than earning in the initial years of my career. Now, some people would ask me, why do you have a problem with focusing on earning in the initial years? Well, I don't have a problem if it comes with learning about yourself, learning all the skills you need to work on the domain you really like, and all of that. But the problem is, learning cannot be on the back burner and earning cannot be the main priority in the initial years. If that happens, I have 3 big problems with it. One, it creates a metaphorical blindfold. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say a person is focusing on earning more than learning, and unfortunately, it's not working out for him or her. In this case, if a great opportunity knocks at your door where you can learn a lot more about yourself, your skills, and then build up on those skills to find a great career, You might focus on how much it pays. What if it pays 10% less than your current job? You might not take it because you at least want 30% more money than the previous job, right? That is very detrimental in the long term. It does look like moving to a better salary means that in the long term you will also get more money, but that is not true. Careers have changed in the last 10 years, and careers are not really tied to a linear trajectory anymore. Second, it might look like delayed gratification, but it is the opposite. When you're focusing on earning a higher salary and not learning in your initial years, it might feel like you're saying, hey, I will focus on earning a lot in my initial years, and later on, when I have X amount of money, I can either retire or I can try figuring out what I really want to do then. It looks like delayed gratification, right? It is exactly the opposite. 90% of the times, the person is actually saying, hey, I don't know what I really want to do. I'd rather be comfortable right now with this much amount of money because I'm scared. And then let's see, if luck is by my side and something magical happens, I will find what I really want to do. Now, I'm not saying this cannot work, but there's a high chance that it will not work for many people. Third, it leads to hedonic adaptation. Now, as your salary increases, there's a high chance your lifestyle will adapt to that salary and your lifestyle will also scale up. Scaling your lifestyle down is extremely hard. And if you're chasing salaries in your initial years, your lifestyle, as I said, might increase, and then you might not be able to go back to figuring things out for yourself or learning something, because you of course need that fancy car, right? Your next car has to be better than your previous car. It's a very bad move. That's why I think in your initial years, when you're supposed to have no baggage, of course, if you're privileged enough, you might create your own baggage just because of these three reasons. So overall, I think that your initial years of your career, focusing on learning more than earning is kind of extremely important. Of course, if you're getting great money along with learning, that's always better, right? I mean, I'm not saying that say no to money, but my point is learning has to be more important than earning. Remember that career is a long-term game. In your initial years, whatever you earn is actually a fraction of what you're gonna earn later on. So you can lose a little bit of it right now, but right now is the time to build all the leverage we can, so that later on we can use this as a platform to just jump up. I am not one of those people who is inspired by a lot of money. My main focus is and will always be me enjoying my work. And money is something I really think about, so don't get me wrong. But once I figured out what I wanted to do, then the idea of money kicked in, and now I focus on it heavily as long as my learning and my enjoyment is not compromised. So my point is, earning has and will never be a master. It will always be a slave to my learning and my professional experiences, my enjoyment. And that is something I recommend heavily for anyone. So my journey has been beautiful because in the first 3.5-ish years, I focused on learning heavily. If I enjoy my work, I see no chance where finances do not work in my favor. So I heavily suggest that learning should be more important than earning in the initial couple of years. So this was more about my experiences. I would love to know what you think. And as I always say in every video and every Medium blog I write, everything is contextual, everything is based on experiences. So there is no right or wrong. This is my perspective and I live by it every day right now. Also, I keep writing Medium blogs about my experiences professionally, and there is also a Medium blog version of what I'm talking about right now. I've added the link in the video description. If someone's curious, I'd love for them to check out my Medium blog. I hope you like this video and I'd love to know more about what you think, and I'll see you